Welcome back to my channel. Today we're making sourdough cheddar bay biscuits. Yeah, you know the ones from Red Lobster? These are better. Let's go. We're gonna start by adding 2 1/3 cups of all-purpose flour to a medium-sized mixing bowl. Next is 2 teaspoons of garlic powder, plus 1 teaspoon of onion powder, as well as 1 teaspoon of baking powder. I like the Rumford, it's aluminum free, but you can use any kind that you have on hand. A half teaspoon of salt. I use sea salt, but again, whatever you have on hand. And finally, half of a teaspoon of baking soda. We will then take a spoon, or you can use a bread whisk, and we're gonna mix the dry ingredients together until they're fully combined. And I almost forgot half of a teaspoon of ground black pepper. We can't forget that. We're just gonna mix that in. Once your dry ingredients are completely mixed together, you're gonna add in 2 cups of cheddar cheese that's been shredded. I like to shred mine at home with a cheese grater, but if you really need to, you can buy it at the store. I use mild cheddar, but you can also use medium or sharp. So just add that into your mixture. Then you're gonna use your bread whisk or your spoon again to combine this. Next, we will add in 1/3 cup of cold stick butter. You can do this a few ways. My favorite is using a cheese grater. You'll grate it and then mix it in, and it's already pea-sized pieces. Or you can use a fork or a pastry cutter to cut your butter into the dough so it's like little pebbles. Up to you, this is the easiest way. Once your butter is grated, you will combine it just like you did the cheese. The second to last ingredient is 1/2 cup of sourdough starter. This can be fed starter or sourdough discard. Either work just fine. What I'm using is starter that has been fed last night and then put in the fridge, so it's kind of ready, it's kind of fed, but it's also still discard, if you know what I mean. And finally, the last ingredient is 3/4 cup of milk or water, or you can even use buttermilk. Today, I'm just gonna use water to make it simple. We will now stir this mixture to combine until it's all incorporated and a dough mixture. Now it's time to shape our dough. So we're gonna turn it out onto the counter. It's okay if there's still some flour on the bottom. We'll use our hands to combine it. But first, if you have a wedding ring, make sure you take it off because it will get doughy. Let's combine this. Now be very careful not to knead it a bunch. Just combine the excess flour. If your mixture is a bit dry, you can add 1 to 2 tablespoons of milk or water, but you shouldn't really need too much. Now that most of our dry ingredients are combined, again, it's okay if there's a little bit here, that's not a big deal. But now what we'll do is we're gonna fold our dough in half and start creating layers. So take your mound, fold it in half, and press down. Then you're gonna turn it, so rotate it 180 degrees, and fold again, push down. We're gonna turn it again 180 degrees, and fold one more time. That is creating our layers. Now, without overworking our dough, we're going to shape this into a 6x8 rectangle about 1.5 inches thick so that we can cut out our biscuits. During this step, if you need to dust a little flour, you are more than welcome to. It tends to get sticky sometimes. Now that our dough is in this little square rectangle, it's time to cut them out. You can use 2 different sizes, it's up to you. This is the largest biscuit cutter I have, and this is the second to the largest. I'm gonna use this one, it's about the size of my hand. That way it's the perfect size for sandwiches or snacking. When you go to cut out your biscuits, it is very important not to twist. So when we cut them out, we're going to go down, just down, and then pull up. And then you're gonna let it fall out or push it out. if you twist the biscuit cutter, it is going to seal off your layers. And so whenever it bakes in the oven, it won't expand. It'll just kind of stay put. So do not twist your cutter. Real quick, just cover a baking sheet with parchment paper or lightly grease with butter and add a little flour so it doesn't stick. And then you can place your cut out biscuits on the sheet pan. The amount you get just depends on how you cut your dough out. Sometimes you'll be able to get 6, sometimes you'll have 5, sometimes you'll have 7. But now that you have this, it's very tempting to just combine it all together and cut more out. You can do this, but I don't recommend it. Instead, we will bunch this up. And yes, you could use this little middle part as a biscuit. Honestly, we're gonna just toss it on just because. It's just not a full one. Okay, so now with your excess dough, we're gonna bring it together, divide whatever's left into 4 after I combine it, and then I roll it into logs. Want to make these kind of thin, but not like super thin, kind of like a breadstick shape. And if you need more flour for this, you can. Just dust your surface lightly. Now, with your dough sticks, you're going to put them on the ends. You might have to move everything together. I usually put the biscuits about an inch or so apart. What you're gonna do is you're gonna take these breadsticks, if you wanna call them, the leftover biscuit dough, and you're gonna put them on the ends, the outside edges of your biscuits. This not only helps you not waste your excess biscuit dough, but as these biscuits rise in the oven, this dough on the outside will help them rise upward rather than out. I learned this tip from Reese Witherspoon in her book, and I have done it ever since. It's so good. We will now place these in the oven at 400 degrees for about 16 to 20 minutes. While we wait on the biscuits to bake, we will make the topping, which is butter and a whole bunch of seasonings. Finally, to make the garlic butter topping, we are going to do 2 tablespoons of melted butter, half of a teaspoon of garlic powder, 1/4 of a teaspoon of ground black pepper, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of sea salt or regular salt. I also like to add in parsley flakes that have been dried. This is optional, you don't have to, but it adds a little bit of color. I love it. So just do a few little sprinkles. And then you can take a spoon or a silicone kitchen brush, which is what I'm using, and you just stir it together till combined. And then after our biscuits are done baking, which we have about 8 minutes left, we will brush this on immediately after they come out of the oven. I hope you had fun baking with me today. If you found this video helpful or just fun to watch, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you never miss one of my videos. Also, be sure to grab my guide to the top 5 sourdough recipes on repeat in our house. I'll put the link below so you can grab that. Until next time, happy sourdough baking.